when I started on the job in 1969, we were still running rural trolley buses from 1947 in regular service every day of the week. So by the time those buses finished their service, they were 34 years old, which is well beyond what most buses would last for 20 years. And then the next order of trolleys were very similar, flyer trolleys. And then the third order by 2006 were low floor trolleys. A punch was necessary to holster, you'd wear the punch. So the punch was necessary for punching the transfers. You needed a watch that the company approved. This jacket is 1969 and these wool slacks are 1971. And these were standard issue by the transit company BC Hydro for the drivers at the time, made to measure from Gordon Campbell clothing down at 2nd and Quebec. And in addition, we had our changer, had to carry cash with us. Shoes had to be brown or black. The socks had to be black or gray. And there was no variance. You wore this uniform and that was it. And you had to wear a tie during the standard time, but in the summer you could take the tie off. And if you showed up at work without a tie in standard time, you were in trouble because you were out of uniform and not suitable for the job. So there was this is like an Army Eisenhower Ike jacket. They called these Ike jackets because they're virtually a copy of a military short jacket. Here's the chauffeur's badge, which authorized me to drive a bus, air brake equipped, and carry people. The cap, which was a locally made cap by Totem company here. So that's interesting that it was locally made. If you had to go down the aisle of the bus to deal with problems, which they don't do anymore, certainly, this cap gave more authority. And that authority existed until about 1990. The thing that jumps to mind was if I drive a bus or a car down Richard Street now, compared to 50 years ago, it's solid high rises. The density of the city has increased massively. Seeing a city change over all the years and having before and after shots really resonates. The one from 7th and Spruce looking north over the city and how much that's changed. It's been an exciting experience. And to be in a job where they actually paid you, and if you're a bus fan, as I was, my hobby and the job were the same thing. Very few people have that opportunity to work at a job and it's their hobby, and photography ties in. When the neighborhood of Dunbar put together a history back in the 1990s, interviews took place with dozens of early residents at that time. And it was put into a book called The Story of Dunbar, which was a unique neighborhood history because each chapter discussed one subject. I was doing transportation, somebody else did schools, the commercial neighborhood. So there were all these different authors, and it's a big, thick history, and it sold very well, and actually won the runner-up award for heritage publication in 2006. So that was a real feather in our cap. So that transportation chapter, which was 35 pages with 14 pictures, was really my first publication. And then later met David Kahn with the Raincoast Chronicles and contributed my story of driving the bus when I first started on the job in 1969 and what it was like with pictures. So I guess writing has always been one of my favorite pastimes, contributing such as the blogs for Eve Lazarus in Vancouver Exposed. So all those blogs were put into a book. And so there's about 8 of my stories with pictures in that book as well. Mostly in my own words, talking about telephones and about buses and about trains and about all sorts of stuff. So people have often said, you should write a book. Why haven't you written the book? And I said, no, I like the way things are at the moment. The photography takes up more. If I do a book, it'll be on neon that I photographed back in the 1970s on road trips. That's where I'm going to head next.